Morning, everybody, and welcome to Success Life Live. My name is Eric Greid. I am your coach, and I'm glad you took time out of your day to jump in and join us for today's Success Life Live. We're going to talk a little bit about having faith versus acting on faith. But in the meantime, I just want to say what an amazing Fun Friend Friday we had. I'm like still trying to process through it. It was off the hook. We're just going to say off the hook. If you missed it, feel free to go out to the YouTube channel, ericgreid.com or YouTube/ericgreid or something like that. And you'll find all of the past Fun Friend Fridays and the upcoming Fun Friend Friday this week will go there as well. So make sure you're checking in on Fridays because, man, I love Fun Friend Friday. Gina was awesome. I mean, literally, I could have sat there all day, but we got to get on to our days. So good morning, Donna. Good morning, Ale. Good morning, Shelly. Take a minute, say good morning to somebody in the room. Find encouragement, find support, find your network is what I gotta say. So today I want to talk about having faith versus acting. Good morning, Mr. Matthew. Busy weekend, I hope. Everybody seems to have, caught a little bit of the Irish spirit. It's funny. I saw people wearing green and, kiss me, I'm Irish, and they were so far from Irish. I think St. Patrick's Day has sort of become that generic, everybody gets a chance to drink and wear green and get a kiss. So if you were one of those, happy St. Patrick's Day. So the other day earlier I had posted, having faith is great, acting on it is where it's at. And I sort of bring this lesson because of my son, who tends to be a little bit cautious. Good morning, Scott, father of many. My son is a bit of a cautious. My son he's timid, he's shy. He's the kid that checks 3 times and then checks one more time. And as you might guess, that's kind of the opposite of me sometimes. Sometimes I go rushing in and then people are like, that probably wasn't the smartest idea. And so we're almost opposite. And one of the things that, when I say it frustrates me, I'll tell him, go do it. Just go do it. Just go. And he's like, but. And he's got to check and re-secure and check in. And I get it. And I know that's his personality and it's always going to be part of him. But what I'm trying to teach him is to go ahead and act, to go ahead and be bold, to go ahead and take a step. What's the worst thing that can happen? And so often when I'm encouraging him to do that, I'll say, what is the worst thing that can happen? Well, and so we play out that scenario. I think the same often happens with us. I meet good intention people and they'll say, oh, I've got faith. Oh, I've got faith. Oh, I've got so much faith. I'm like, well, that's nice. How are you using it? Faith is not something that we should store up in a box for some cold winter day. It's like when I grew up in Minnesota, we would always have certain things in the pantry or in the back of the shelf that if we got stuck during a blizzard or if an unexpected snowstorm came, we could survive. That's not the way our faith is supposed to work. That's not the way faith is supposed to be lived out. It's not something you collect up. It's not something you go in church on Sunday and get your faith tank filled, and then you try and see how long you can keep it at that full meter throughout the week. Faith is that thing that you've got to put into action. Faith is this thing that it's useless actually unless it's in action, in motion, in change. I had said above that, nothing changes without action. Action changes things. I think faith changes things. And if we combine faith and action together, then we change and our lives change and our families change and our communities and our businesses change. But so often we get paralyzed by this, like my son. What if it's the wrong action? What if it's not perfect? What if I don't do it the way I'm supposed to do? What if, and we get the what ifs. What if you don't act? And then this weekend, I had an opportunity when my son was frozen in place, so to speak, and he couldn't make a decision, and I wasn't going to make it for him. I finally said, well, what's going to happen if you don't? And he could suddenly see the picture of lost opportunity and all of the things that went with it. And it moved him into action. So it's kind of the same challenge for you today. If you're storing up faith for a rainy day, if you're like trying to accumulate more faith than your neighbor, if you're walking around going, well, I've got faith, maybe it's time to like start to try and empty the tank out. Maybe it's time to see just how much of that faith you can use up in a day, whether it's in your business, in your family, in your relationships, in your community. Because here's the thing, if we believe in an abundant faith, you're never going to tank out. You're never going to be running on fumes, so to speak. If you are constantly finding fuel through your daily practice and the people you connect with and the things you listen to and the things you focus on, you're never going to tank out. But walking around saying, I've got faith, but taking no action into it, that's kind of disrespectful. It's kind of like, I'm sure there's a couple dozen and a half proverbs of taking those talents and burying them in the ground. It's, I always tell coaching clients when they come up and like, what should I do first? What should I do first? And I'm like, you got to roll the stone away. You got to do some of the heavy lifting on your own. You've got to step in and get to work. If you expect to see the dreams, the life, the things you want to achieve be achieved, you got to show up and do some lifting, people. Just standing around saying, I got faith, 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 I got faith. Ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna work. And I know my mother would like get me for using ain't. But it ain't gonna work, folks. We gotta show up ready to act. Action change things. Look at your schedule today. Look at your calendar. Look at your to-do list. Look at whatever it is that you use to center yourself and focus yourself. And if you're not doing that every single day, if you're just simply responding to the digital reminders on your phone, then you and I need to talk, because that's not the way you can live intentionally and focused and lean into what you're supposed to lean into. Look at what you've got written down in your day timer and say, okay, how can I act in faith at 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, with my family, with my business, with my finances, with my health? How can I stretch myself to go one step bigger, one step larger, one step more? How can I try and empty out my faith tank today? Where is it that I could like go all out and see if I could end up on fumes? Because you're not going to. But I think sometimes we get in this habit of just trying to store it all up. Look good to our friends and neighbors. Raise our hands and go, oh, I got faith, I got faith, I got faith. Put it into action. Put it into action is my challenge for you today, okay? Like I said, I'm trying to encourage my son. I know he's never going to be a high risk taker, cliff jumping, bungee cord kind of kid. It's just not his nature. But what I want him to be aware of is that his actions create change. Oh, I love that you said just responding to digital reminders. It's the handicap of technology right now. We punch in these events and these things, and then we forget them, and then they show up, and then we're supposed to immediately step into them with perfect intention and at our highest self, and we can't. You need to be doing it every morning in your quietness and in your thoughtfulness. But I know my son is going to learn that his actions can change some things, and that his actions have to come from him. It can't come from me. It can't come from somebody else. He has to be driven by his own desire to take action. He has to see both the benefit and the consequences and evaluate the risk. But standing still, nothing will ever change for him. He'll never accomplish or achieve the things he wants in life unless he begins to take action and become a little bolder and, move into the risk zone. So, I don't know, struggling with it, trying not to block his path, but also trying to make sure that I expose him to all that he can be. And that's part of the challenge of being a dad. It's like, I keep trying to remember that he's not me, but I want to show him the benefits of personalities and changes kind of too. Yes, Donna, it's so somewhere, it's buried over there on my desk. So what are you doing at 9 o'clock? So it's 8 o'clock now. For some of you, it's earlier, some of you, it's later, whatever. Some of you are watching in replay. But let's assume whatever's happening in the next hour, at the start of the next hour, if you have an appointment, how are you showing up? What do you want to show up as? How are you going to grow in that moment, that hour? If you don't have a physical appointment, you probably have something to do, whether it's writing or reading or cleaning a house or driving to work. How do you want to be in that hour? Who is the highest and best person that you can be during that hour? Have you seen it? Have you visualized it? Have you created it? Have you called it into being? Have you become intentional about that hour? Because that's what success life living is about. It's living fully engaged. It's about living intentionally. It's about knowing who you want to be throughout the events in your life. It's not about some big old stage moment where you get an award. Those are nice, like Gina said. They're great little stepping stones, but we got to be moving beyond them before we receive them. And so digital reminders, yeah, they're great for keeping track, but I download mine every day. Action changes things, I agree. Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. So I challenge you guys today, two things, I guess now, is one, look at your calendar, pick an hour in today, just 1 hour, and focus in on it before it arrives. Who do I want to be? What do I want to be? What is my highest and best purpose and look like in that hour? What is it that I want to bring to that? What do I want to learn from that? How do I want to stretch and grow in that? What does it look like to be bigger and better than myself right now? And then two, begin to take action towards that. Begin to step into that moment with faith instead of saying, well, I'm just going to store up some faith. Cultivate your faith seeds. Planted should grow and multiply. Yes, Ella. Yeah, that's I love that idea because we're moving into spring. Last year, my son planted pumpkins. He wanted to keep the pumpkin seeds to plant this year. I'm like scouring in the garage looking for those last year pumpkin seeds. And I kept saying, I know they're here somewhere. I know they're here somewhere. They're not doing me any good buried in the back of the closet when they should be buried in the earth and getting going. So I love that idea. The faith seeds planted should grow and multiply. Quit hiding your faith. Quit holding your faith. Quit trying to store up your faith for some rainy day, someday. I'm going to really need it when kind of thing. It doesn't work that way. Having faith is great. Acting in faith is even better. And that's what I want to encourage you guys to do today. All right. Well, I wish you the very best. I've got some appointments and things to go off to today. If you should need me as a coach or as a speaker, you can always text message me, private message me, connect to me through Facebook or through my website, ericgreid.com. If you're not part of Success Life Weekly, our weekly subscription magazine or newsletter that has a coaching tip and some other things in it, ericgreid.com/subscribe. And you should be able to sign up through there. Things I'm working on as well, so we'll keep you in touch through that. But until then, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. I appreciate you joining me and sharing this out and encouraging me. Good morning, most beloved and loved. Yes. So a second tip on the calendar thing, we're going to just have calendar tips today. So you can program, like I have Calendly or however you pronounce it, that I need a gap between appointments. Like it says, don't back to back. So like if you get an appointment from 1 to 2, I can't have a 2 to 3. It actually gaps because I want to make sure that I have enough time to exit the last appointment and prepare to enter into the new appointment. And when I'm manually scheduling myself, I do the same thing. As much as I would love to work, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, that's my nature. I know that I need time to exit one appointment and prepare to enter the next appointment to bring my highest and best self to people. And so just encourage you to think that way. All right, well, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Till then, go out and live your life of success. It is yours, and you are fully worthy of it, my friends. Good morning, Miss Melanie. Good morning, everybody else. Take a moment, say hello to each other, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.